I love talking about intuitive eating, and if I have 5 minutes to try to sell you on it, I'm going to try. It is a non-diet approach to food. It's really a lifestyle. It's a diet, not a lifestyle, but it's true. And what grinds my gears though is so I see so many people trying to say that intuitive eating is like a diet, and it's not. So it's basically a set of 10 principles that focuses on your body's natural hunger, your fullness, your satisfaction, and really just reconnects you to your intuition around food without having to follow restrictive food rules or diet rules that you just like set for yourself that have nothing to do with what your body necessarily needs. It was developed by two dietitians. A set of principles was developed by two dietitians named Evelyn Tribole and Elise Resch, and they've written a book about it. They have a workbook about it. It's evidence-based. They have tons of studies supporting this work that they've done. And really one of the major benefits of intuitive eating is like not only can it help you with your health outcomes with weight management, but it helps you with your relationship with food, which by default also helps you with your mental health. It reduces the burden of dieting. You can really just like live a fuller life and enjoy food. I think a really big misconception about intuitive eating is that you can just eat whatever you want. Like, it's not just eating whatever you want whenever you want. It's more about just learning to trust your body, which takes a ton of work. And there's quite a few learning curves, which we can talk about, but it's trusting your body signals that your body knows what's going to make you feel good mentally and physically, and your body innately knows what it needs. We're born knowing what we need, but when we become adults, we fight natural urges. Like, for example, we hold our pee at work if we're in a meeting and can't get out of it, and we if we're hungry, we wait to eat until it's noon, lunchtime, so we can clock out. So those kinds of things, we kind of ignore those natural cues and signals. So not just with food, with other things, even sleep, putting off sleep because we have responsibilities. But this set of principles is kind of suggesting there's a little bit of room to connect back to that intuition with food here. We live in such a diet culture focused world that is like, you need to follow this diet, you need to follow this plan, you need to avoid these ingredients, you need to eat this way. And everyone thinks that they know the way. But what I love so much about intuitive eating is it quiets all the noise about what everyone else thinks you should be eating like, and it helps you figure out how you want to eat, which is so special because it's so personal. Food is so personal. So a lot of people, I think, really start focusing, and what I noticed in my work is like people focus on their nutrition when their weight's involved. So I have a lot of people come to me going, okay, I really want to like be able to practice this whole intuitive eating thing and not have to track my calories, not have to follow a diet, but I want to lose weight. So what does that mean? And the thing is, like, this isn't a diet, so we're not going to be, if you're following intuitive eating, there's really not a way to say, okay, I'm going to eat intuitively and at the same time be in a calorie deficit. It doesn't quite work that way, because if you're in a calorie deficit, you're then overriding your intuition. So it kind of goes against this whole like set of principles. They can't really exist together. And that doesn't mean you can never be in a calorie deficit. Your body, your choice. You do what's best for you. But I would still encourage you to kind of adopt this intuitive eating sort of mindset and at least just understand what your body needs and wants. We also know that over 95% of diets fail, meaning like people who go on diets, the statistic is people who go on diets regain the weight that they lost within 2 to 5 years after the diet. And then that, like, it's kind of a wash, rinse, and repeat thing. They try to find another diet because that diet didn't work. They regain the weight and they, find something else. So if you're exhausted from diets, intuitive eating is such a great approach. The other thing that I notice too in my clients who do struggle with weight is oftentimes whenever they work on this mental piece of things, they improve their relationship with food, they practice intuitive eating, they're bought in, their weight will regulate on its own. usually that does not look like a drastic weight loss. Usually what it will look like, and which will scare you, is you might gain a little bit of weight at first as your body's kind of re-regulating. Did I make that word up? Re-regulating. And then over time, your weight kind of will level out. That's what I see the most in my clients and my experiences with them. So you really can't predict with intuitive eating what will happen to your weight. It's really just kind of a trust fall. And that's part of it. You're kind of discovering like what a healthy weight is for you, because the BMI charts are just, to me, BS. Like, we don't need to be looking at those anyway. So I hope that kind of helps you make sense of intuitive eating. The best way you can start with intuitive eating would be, one, to learn about it. Obviously, you could buy the book by Evelyn and Elise, the dietitians that came up with the principles. I would encourage you to check out the workbook. You can buy it on Amazon. But also work with a dietitian. Seriously, work with a dietitian. It will change your life. It will change your outlook on food. Whether that's me or someone else that's a better fit, I don't care. But I cannot recommend this to you enough. It's so transformative in not only helping people in eating disorder recovery, but also people who haven't had technical eating disorders. Maybe they just feel lost, and maybe they feel stuck in the dieting cycle, and maybe they're sick of their weight being a problem, or maybe they're sick of like their labs being out of range and just not knowing where to go from there. And this can be a really great way to just like take a beat, focus on your mental health, find the joy in food again, and who knows, like it will probably greatly benefit your health in the long run. You wouldn't even believe. So I hope this makes sense of intuitive eating. And if you have any questions,